What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica in Canada right now. I decided to do this show today because I found out while on the road, my poor friend's buildings got burned down by some criminals. Now, look, I had to bring her on. I said, listen, we ain't seen you in a minute anyway. And we can't just have you popping up at the boat party and the crowd hasn't seen you. So, everybody in the comments, can you please drop your city and state? And please welcome our usual co host, but been gone for a minute, Kiera back. Please introduce yourself to the audience who may not know who you are.
Hey, y'all. I am Kiera. I'm one half or one third of Charm City Buyers out of Baltimore, Maryland.
And so how many projects, how much are you guys invested in that area?
So we're heavily invested in that area. So we have a huge part of our portfolio. We have of our own, like 100% our properties. We have 5 in that area that we're working on right now. And then we are heavily involved and partnered on another project that is huge that we don't talk about much often, but that is the one that hit today. So we probably have about 50, 55 in the area that we are currently involved in and working on. So we're heavily invested.
Heavily. There's experience there. You see, when I bring people on the show, they got experience. I got a video I'm gonna pop out probably later tonight. It's only 5 minutes, but it's like, let me tell you something, okay? Your girl got experience. All right, sometimes you have to do that. All right, so everybody in here, let me do a quick roll call shout out. Thank you for dropping your cities and states. When you do this, this allows us to plan parties, plan events, plan meetups in your city. Now, if you tell me, Ericka, come to my city, and I ain't seen you comment in the comment where your city's at, and I don't see other people commenting from your city, guess what? We're not visiting that city. You dig what I'm saying? We got to be able to help each other out. You want to see me? I want to see you. Help a girl out. Listen, the boat party's coming up. Okay? We got Kiera coming. We got Charm City, one half, one whole, whatever. However you want to say it, coming officially on the record. We got Rashana Scott coming. We got Terry, I Make All the Money, Igioma coming. Stocks and Travel and Trade. We got Andre Hatchett coming. We got Mr. Money Madu. That's how I call him. That's how I'm going to keep calling him. And others. I ain't going to tell y'all all who's coming because I need you to come. Come check it out. Come eat good food. Come live nice, right? So let me give a real quick roll call. What's up? Yeah, R. Garner, somebody burnt her stuff up. Got Virginia in the house, Douglasville, Georgia, Staten Island, DC, Charlotte, North Carolina, Gatlinburg, Maryland. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I reading that wrong? Gaithersburg. Sorry, my bad. Columbia, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama, Huntington Beach, California, another California, Atlanta, Georgia, DC, Virginia, Memphis, Tennessee. Oh, thank you for the $99 super chat with no message, but I'll take it. All right. And Bloomingburg, PA. 70 of y'all here. Make sure you hit the like button. We have to fight Skynet together. So with that being said, thank you, Mr. B. Curtis, for the 99-cent super chat. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. You help the channel be great. So tear up my city's name. Why don't you? Look, be slow. I'm just reporting the news, baby. I'm just reporting the news. What's up, Houston? What's up, Bowie, Maryland? I used to drive through there.
Bowie, yeah.
So here, what's up, New Jersey? Hit us up. It's 76 of y'all here. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Thank you so much. Lucifer City, hell, what?
Oh, no, I don't know about that. We don't play those games. I rebuke it in the name.
So, Kiera, give us a rundown. What happened, baby? Tell me what happened.
Yes. So, we were having a nice little family dinner. And of course, because we do so much in that area, someone local who is in leadership in the area texted us while we were at dinner, like, hey, such and such house is on fire. Is that one you guys? And we're like, oh, no, it's not. It's next door, but it's not ours, right? So within a few hours, we got another message. It was like, oh, that fire spread across the entire block and impacted 5 units that we are in control of. And so we ran down, Chloe went in the middle of the night to check it out, right? It's like soot everywhere. So we're trying to figure out what exactly was going on. What happened apparently was what happens in a lot of areas with a lot of vacants. And one of the reasons why we're so passionate about rebuilding these like tear down vacant houses is because there were some folks doing drugs, whatever, something happened, and they caught the house on fire. And so from that, because all the houses were so dilapidated in that area, it's very easy for them to just go across. The houses were already in disrepair. A lot of them didn't have roofs, didn't have backs. So they were all really tough houses. So there was nothing to stop the fire from like going crazy. So we went down that night, went back the next morning, and, you know, it smelled like smoke, you know, 14 hours later, because 6 different houses had burned. But yeah, so it was crazy. It was like that standard story of someone, you know, going into the house that didn't belong, and then setting the house on fire. So there's like so many things that came out of that. And there's a reason why we're not like completely in shambles. So we'll talk about why it's not like you know, it's terrible, it's bad, right? You don't want those types of things to happen, but there's a few reasons why it's not like we're not in complete disarray over it.
Oh, they're not even crying, y'all. They like, anyway, shoulder shrug. So listen, I'm gonna give some more shout outs. And for sure, we've got Pembroke Pines, Florida, East Orange, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I need to buy real estate to take over the world. ATL. And Charles Ogilvy said Charm City Security Company. So let me tell you, Kier didn't like that I said criminals, but last time I checked, when you trespass on property that you do not own, that means criminal activity.
Yeah, technically, absolutely, right, definitely. But I also am very thoughtful about language around Baltimore, being that half of y'all watch too much of The Wire. And so I just want to be very clear on that piece. But yeah, technically, you're right.
I was going to put The Wire in the title, but I said I'm going to do right.
Yeah,
I'm going to do right today. We drove around over there. It was good. St. Louis, Coatesville, PA. Listen, there's 87.
Hey, Coatesville. That's my hometown.
Hit that. What is?
Coatesville, Pennsylvania, not too far from where
I grew. Okay. The Amish, where you escaped? Okay, cool. Small things to a giant. Chicago, Illinois. All right, so here's my thing with this. This is why when I was in Detroit with Asia, I was very, I did not want to buy a property and a bando be beside it. Now, everybody says, well, Ericka, it doesn't matter. People will live next to abandoned buildings. But I'm protecting my investment, because if it catches fire and you're talking, the fire will go. Right. Because of the rate, how close it is, wind, dry. I mean, like I saw the live the other day from Khalil, and honestly, what it was is those, you know, when the roof's off, that wood's been exposed. It was dry because of the summer. It's just like kindle. It's just like it's going light.
Yeah, there's only firewood. And the other thing that's challenging about these houses when they're in that condition, when they're like no backs, no roofs, it's collapsed, all of that stuff. A lot of times the structural integrity of the walls in between row homes is not sound. And so those are your firewalls between these houses. And so if the house is falling down and the bricks, you know, for example, in Baltimore, houses are built with bricks, there's usually cracks in them. There's a lot of structural integrity that is just not present. And so the fire goes through those firewalls, right? There's nothing to stop it. So you don't have a roof. The wall in between isn't there to, you know, isn't strong enough to withhold. So it literally just flies through.
Well,
and there's no one that lives there. Like the only way to calls the police is if, you know, they're outside or around the block or what have you, driving past. And so you have that delay as well.
See, and this is why we have to focus on, we can't have that many bandos in our community. We have to always be like, look, there's 5 on this block. I'm gonna grab 2. Who can grab 2 more? Because it does something. There's multiple studies about when kids see damaged windows, damaged roof, it's something about the value and pride in those areas. And so I'm not saying whoever Pookie and Ray Ray and them was in there having their best life ever. I want them to be safe. I don't want them to be die or be injured. But again, they may have been trying to stay warm. Who knows what was going on?
Absolutely.
And that's what. And so BT Thomas Trucking said, Baltimore's not that bad. I lived in what is that?
Dundalk.
For 2 years and loved it.
Yeah, Baltimore's not that bad. Baltimore.
It's really not. I'm just giving it crap.
Yes, right. And you were there now. So now Ericka was in town for a couple days and she couldn't, we had to drive her to see anything almost worth seeing.
Well, the funny thing was, me and Andre Hatcher were walking down the street one night and there were some young kids out there cutting up. And I said, I'll beat a kid. Okay. Your mama may not beat you, but I'll beat you.
There's a few babies that could use a little beating, but
they needed a whooping. I was ready.
Yeah.
I told Andre Hatchet, tonight is the night, baby.
You always right to beat somebody's kids. I don't know. You
listen.
Talk about that.
I feel like I'm a law and order type person. I just feel like, I think a lot of times these kids, if we can catch them young, we stop them from being older adults doing the wrong thing. So you rather get a whooping from me at 15 than at 18, because it's all rules are off at that point. If I got cowboy boots on, I'm stomping.
It's it. That's it.
That's it. Okay. It seems like gentrification is a good thing. And let's be clear, gentrification is just the improvement of a neighborhood. Anybody can do it. It's not a black or white thing, is what I want people to see.
It's not a bad thing. It's by definition, it's not a bad thing. It's the potential impacts if you're not renovating these homes and building values in this community consciously and thinking about the people who are there and have been there. And not only that, the people who are there, if they're not continuously educating themselves so that they can be improving with the community, that's when bad things happen. That's when the negative implications happen. But gentrification as a bad word is just kind of this cultural thing, societal thing we have going on right now. But in all reality, these vacant homes and these houses that have low value that should and need to be renovated for a better community, gentrifying that is a great thing for the community. That's more houses that are in better shape, right? Like Ericka said, if you're walking past these houses every single day on your way to school, what does that do to your psyche around how you value yourself, how you value your community, how you value your neighborhood? If you don't see that no one else sees value in that space either. So I think it's really important that we're building value in these communities and that we learn that gentrification is not always a bad word.
Right. And to be more to the point, like when I go places, I always, if I see two properties together, I want to buy them together. So even in the video I did it here in Khalil, I was like, well, Khalil, what's the issues with this area? Because I would be interested in buying those too, because they're together. I'd rather go ahead and buy them together, right? And they're across from a kids park. I think that's where we were. I was like, that to me is a no-brainer, right? Because if you have them together, both for being improved, as a neighbor, a reasonable person would be like, well, it's improving. My neighbor's new, I'm new, like it's new over here. Same thing in Detroit. Listen, okay, same thing in Chicago. When I saw one or two properties together, I'm like, I'd buy them together and improve both, because it's a momentum thing, right? Several places I've been where people start cleaning it up. Like a prime example, when I went there with you guys, when you show me John Hopkins, it was like everybody improved like street by street. Like as the next street started to improve, boom, next street was improved. I feel like people were waiting, like if they fix that, then I'll fix this, right?
100%.
And it's very much a theory and why people do that, but
yeah. Absolutely. And that's exactly how it happens. You wait. And that's why there's so many vacants in the city, in Baltimore City right now. It's because investors are just sitting on them and they're waiting for someone else to come in and do the work so that they can go ahead and do it, work on their houses. Everyone's waiting for someone else to go. And so
I know it's like a four-way stop where nobody knows how to drive.
Exactly.
Well, what's interesting about what I want people to start seeing gentrification as is if you own your grandma's house, yes, your grandma's taxes went up, but guess what? So did the value of her property. Now, grandma can do a lot of things in her retirement. There's a lot of positives that can be had out of this conversation.
Absolutely. So, and grandma can get tax credits to keep her taxes lower so that it's not going up super fast as the rate of the properties around her. So she can get the appreciation without having that like huge hike while she's on like fixed income or whatever, so that she can stay and she doesn't have to deal with those types of issues. So it's like educating yourself again.
Well, also too, inside the chat, if you guys see the first comment, I posted Kiera's course about how to analyze a deal, because a lot of times y'all go, well, Ericka, you're talking about buying in Chicago. You're talking about buying in Detroit. I don't know if this is a good deal. Many of you reach out to me and ask me, should I invest with you? And I'm like, should you? I don't know. You need to, I would love for you to invest with me, but if you're concerned, here's the math for you to do it yourself per se, right? And so that link is in the chat and I will keep posting it for sure. So anybody has a problem seeing it.
And that's why we weren't completely going crazy over these fires, right? So the fires are terrible, right? That's bad. You don't want there to be fires. But in the condition that the houses were in, we had bought them with the expectation of completely like
it's a gut job.
building them anyway.
So it was like a gut job.
Complete gut. Complete 100%. So everything that burned.
Right, your cousins just saved you $10 by going through Geico. No,
because I mean some of the stuff, when you're doing big demo and the demo cost is by weight, half the stuff is soot now, so it's going to cost us a little less. But yeah, so we were going to demo them anyway, and because we are, and I know this drives me crazy when people are buying vacant houses and not insuring them, because this is why things like that are important. So having insurance on them and making sure we have the right levels of insurance, that fires are covered. And so, we end up, we're able to make a claim and all that and still, move forward where we ran our numbers, we used the spreadsheet, all this stuff, and that the analysis bootcamp, the property analysis bootcamp that Ericka's sharing, we went through that spreadsheet. And so we know all the numbers and all of that. And so this claim just helps kind of offset some of our costs when it comes to doing some of the renovations. And so it just makes it that much better. And so we knew, we have to buy it for this much because we have to put X amount into it so that we can sell it for however much. And it was all in that spreadsheet that's included in the property analysis bootcamp.
So Faith Alone said, you need to read The Color of Law. So let me make it very clear, and as professional way I can say it. I read, Kier and them all know, I read for hours and hours a day. I share articles to the point where they're like, why am I friends with this girl? Like, I literally read all the time. And so I understand, and point of this whole channel is, things have happened to my family generationally, things have happened to other people's family generationally. But at the end of the day, when I ask you, what have you done the past 5 to 10 years to help your family, your grandma, your community? There's a control window here from at least 1998. 1995 to now, that has been in your control. So there's a thing saying, if your parents were broke, that's not your fault. But if your kids or your grandkids are broke, that is your fault. Now, people don't want to take that responsibility, but it's there. So yeah. I've read that book. I've also read several others. Yes, redlining has existed. Yes, bad money has existed.
Absolutely.
So, but at the end of the day, we're at a different. Say it again.
I said Baltimore is known for its redlining.
Exactly.
So I could never even try to discredit that, but that doesn't change the facts of the matter.
Oh yeah, and even the thing today, Asia Selden shared a post of a property. Like, people always like, where are you buying? Where are you buying? Asking her all the time, and she don't, of course she don't say. She said, I bought low. She bought very, very low. Now there was a property that she posted on her Instagram. Y'all go look at this if you want. And it was $115,000 in Philly. Mm-hmm. Now, somebody in the comment was like, I'm like, $115,000 fully renovated place. It becomes a thing of, it's not the price. It's you, baby. It's you. Well, Ericka, what can to get approved for $115,000 loan, Kiera? What is that? What is you got to make? What, $40K a year?
Maybe
32. You could be a teacher.
Yeah.
It could be a rental.
Yeah.
So I'm just starting to have a pushback on this. Well, them laws, girl. That was No. I'm asking you what you're doing today.
Yeah. And I think,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to be educated and understand how things have been set up or were set up and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's even more important to understand how to navigate it and put yourself in a better position. So using that constantly, you can't use it as a crutch. You have to use it as a point of education so that you know how to move forward and move forward smarter. But you can't use it as a crutch, not in the year of our Lord 2019.
In the year of our Lord.
You can't do it. It's about to be 2020. Like, it's a whole new decade in less than 6 months. Like, we cannot take that into 2020.
I'm just, listen. Ooh.
The poor is a mindset. I agree. I think so. I mean, I think you get stuck in it, and I don't always think that's every individual's fault that their mindset is poor. But I think that we have to nowadays, instead of scrolling social media to figure out who has the newest Jordans, we need to spend time, if we're going to be on social media, we're going to figure out how to be educating ourselves and put ourselves to the next level, right? Like you have so much more opportunity literally in your hand every single day to change your circumstance and change that mindset. So like I said, not in 2020, it ain't coming.
Here's the thing. Anyway, I'm gonna read this comment. What do y'all think? Wait a minute. I think you're trying to say, should you buy your personal home before rental property? I think that's what you're trying to say, Curtis. I'm not insulting you. I'm just trying to read. I'm like, what?
Yeah, probably. I'll say we had quite a few rental units before we owned our personal home. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might have had 6 before we bought our personal home. That's our story. So I'm not going to tell anyone that you have to buy your personal home first. But I would say when we bought our first house, it was the 3-unit. Khalil wanted to move into it, and we should have. We should have moved into it. We should have house hacked. We would have saved a ton of money. We still would have cash flowed, and I wouldn't have had to pay my $1,200 a month in rent, right? But I didn't want to live in that neighborhood, right? I was at that point.
Where's Charles to be in the comments to say?
No, tell him go home. I was at a point where I was like, I'm making good money. Like, I want to live in a certain neighborhood, and I want to blah 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 blah. And I should have moved there. We should have moved into that house. So there's a really great ways where you can buy your personal home, take advantage of all the financial incentives to do that, and get rental income when you're able to buy a multifamily, which is what I always suggest to all of our mentees, is to, look for multis.
There's 150 of y'all here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you. Hit that like button, baby. Anytime, anywhere, any place. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let me see here. Some people, somebody put Air Jordan. So true. Rental came first. We house hacked. Been the bartender laughing. Today is my birthday, 18th. 2019, the year of our Lord.
Celebrate humbly. Happy birthday, Anthony. Happy birthday.
The year of our Lord. Anyway.
For real.
Hey, what's up, Midtown GA? How dare those investors burn down Baltimore?
I'm trying to tell you. They almost ruined my dinner. Almost. Not quite though.
All right. So but that's the whole point of having insurance. I talk to people all the time talking about insurance is a ripoff. It's $40 damn a month, baby. Yeah. Apartments all the time. Like, you'll see stories in the news where to move into your apartment, you have to have insurance, right? To get your keys in Texas.
We require that from our tenants.
Literally, because they know the rules in Texas. Let's say you don't pay your apartment insurance the next month. The apartment insurance you buy from will snitch on you and tell the complex your insurance is lapsed. And it only be $10 a month, baby. Yeah, I mean, like, apartment insurance is $112 a year.
Yeah.
For like $10K, like very low minimum.
Yeah. Rentals insurance is super cheap.
Yeah. So when they send us all these, like, we used to get this stacks of notifications of people not paying. I'm like, $10 damn, you get your debit card getting cut off. Like, come on, baby. What you doing out here? Parking lot full of BMWs ain't got $10 in the account. Come on now.
And renters insurance, people always forget. Renters insurance, you can cover like your jewelry, your TV. Like, if stuff happens, if you flush your ring down the toilet, right? Like, you can cover that in your renters insurance. Like, there's a lot of benefits outside of just, it's a requirement for where you stay. If something happens there, you're going to figure out. Like, no one appreciates insurance until something happens. You're like, oh shit, I should have had it, or oh crap, I'm glad I have it. So we got to stop being cheap. I had a consultation call. I'm going to tell this story. I had a consultation call. You might remember this because I'm pretty sure I went off that day, where she called me because she was just asking me questions or whatever. She was going to join our mentorship program, and we were talking. And she called me one day and she was like, a car just ran into my house. I was like, what now? She's like, a car ran into my house. Our house is on a corner. A car like literally ran into her basement. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, well, you just have to call your insurance company, put them on notice. You want to get a copy of the police report, blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, I don't have insurance. I'm like, you what? She didn't have insurance on this house. She was doing renovations. She was trying to do renovations. She was doing all of these things, didn't have insurance. So none of it was covered. It was structural damage to the house. It was a complete brick building. So if anyone who knows masonry, that stuff gets really expensive super fast. It was a mess. And I'm like, why didn't you have insurance? She was like, I was going to get it the last time someone ran into my house. I'm like, girl, this happened before. Like, what are you doing? And you didn't get insurance the last time? Like, what is, I was so irritated on this consultation call. I don't know if she's going to watch this or not, but and I'm like, why? It was, oh, you know, money, this, that, and the third. I'm like, well, how's your money now? But your money's real funny now that you got to rebuild the whole front side of your house. The city condemned the house. It was terrible because she didn't want to get a vacant
$40 a month.
$40 if you're a renter, but if you're a landlord, it's definitely more expensive for builder's risk or a vacant policy or stuff like that. But even still, $100 a month isn't going to kill you nearly as bad as a fire or someone running into your house or theft, someone stealing all of your appliances in your vacant house or whatever it is. Like, you have to just make sure you're covered appropriately.
I mean, here's the thing. I have these trucks and I put like $1 million insurance on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it cost me here? Take a guess.
What, $1 million? Is it an umbrella policy?
Yeah, it's a big policy for just one truck.
Oh, for each truck. It might cost you what? Maybe $175 a month?
No, $300 for the whole freaking year.
Oh, you get an umbrella policy. That's what I'm saying. Is it car insurance or umbrella? Umbrella is super cheap.
It's basically umbrella. I mean, if you got a personal person in the vehicle, it's gonna cover 100,000 this, 100,000 that, 100,000 this, 100,000 damage over here.
Policies are so cheap.
So my one policy, because I have a driver who had 4 traffic tickets, incidents.
Oh no!
It went up to $1,000 just for that one truck. Now all the other trucks $300. That one truck $1,000. I was like, so when people sit here and go, I don't have insurance, or like they don't have a policy on themselves. One time I went to go get a loan at a bank, and the guy was like, I knew you were serious because you have insurance on yourself. Do you know how many people come in here making 100,000, 200,000 a year, no insurance? I pay cash for everything. He was like, but if you die,
right? Then what? What you fitting to do? What are you fitting to do? Like, I don't understand that, especially in like our position, right? Having a bunch of assets and stuff like that. Like, it's irresponsible to not have insurance to insure against things that happen. And so I saw someone in the comments works in insurance. So when I graduated college, and even while I was in college, I worked for 2 different large insurance companies, which is probably why I'm like so big on making sure people are mitigating their risk. But yeah, like it's negligent. It is negligent.
I'm telling you, I would only work with business people, because literally, if I was an insurance person, I'd only work with businesses. Because they have to, so many different laws. But again, you guys, I don't have my own authority technically. So I mean, there's a whole nother story in that. But when I had a coffee shop, it was like $500 a year. When I did the painting company, it was close to $400. I mean, a lot of what people don't understand is you get so much for so little.
You do,
right? 9 times out of 10, nothing ever happens.
Yep.
But the time it does is when you need it. So if old girl she had a basic policy of like 150,000. You know how much bricks she could have fixed. Right. But after you said the first time it got hit, I'm like, I can't.
That's what I said on the call. I can't. I won't. I shall not. Y'all doing too much.
You doing too much. And it sounds like she has a corner lot or a lot near a turning light or a turning area. So, I mean, they made a
four-way stop sign. There was no reason for people to keep hitting her house like that. I'm like, what is going on?
There's a house in Raleigh that's been repaired 4 times because certain people who are illegal they drink and drive and they go past this one area.
People aren't illegal, Ericka.
If they illegally trespass, they are illegally trespassing.
Okay, they might illegally trespass, but they're not illegal people.
I could call them the other word, criminals, but I prefer to say illegal.
Proceed. Go ahead. It's your show.
Okay. We can go down a rabbit hole, but you don't want that. I don't know if you saw a couple of days ago, I went on a rant about services. People were like, up north, you have services. Yeah, so you're basically saying you want high taxes to steal your neighbor's money for your services? No, roads are raggedy. Miss me with that. Okay, back to the show. Back to the show. somebody said they didn't know rental insurance even existed. Wow.
Yeah. So you get renter's insurance. So if you are a renter, you can get renter's insurance to cover your personal contents. So 9 times out of 10, your landlord does not have insurance to cover your stuff. If the roof starts leaking and your stuff gets messed up, your stuff is not covered. So for you to cover your stuff, you have to get renter's insurance. And then there's also like landlord insurance for landlords. But yeah.
And when they offer it to you, they have 2 usual policies. One's a $10,000 cover one, and one's $100,000. I tell people all the time, get the $100,000, because there was a couple videos of people in Houston who had the $100,000 and they got checks back. Okay. Checks on checks, right? Because that flooding was like, what? Right.
Yeah.
And
you don't think about how much your stuff is worth. You don't really think about how much your stuff is worth. Like we had a small, we had like a small, our sump pump went out in our personal home, and like everything, like it was just water in the basement. Well, we ended up getting like a check for like, I think almost been like 10 or 11 grand off of stuff that was just sitting on the ground in the basement that we didn't even think about. It was old baby stuff, like whatever. And you just don't think about how much the stuff that you purchase and accumulate is worth.
I'd have been like, my fur coat and my diamonds were in the basement.
Bruh, I'm like, I was in the water.
Y'all, listen, when Kiera told me about her places burn, I was like, well, actually, I was in Baltimore and my foot caught on fire. I deserve a check.
Right. No, man.
Then the bartender said, I miss you at VidCon. Listen, I was in and out of that bad boy. I was in and out. I'm not gonna read that. I don't know what that's about. $17K a month covers my $15,000 in my house. Okay. Credit and money go together. There's a lot of vocabulary going around in reference to our people. They are still people. Yes, they are. They are. I mean, but if you illegally trespass a house and catch it on fire, you've just done about 3 or 4 crimes. So I will still say criminals burnt down Kiera's properties.
I thought about that too. I didn't like the criminal word either. But it's
I like it. SEO likes it. YouTube likes it. All right. So thank you for the $5 super chat. You know I'm loving this channel, Ericka. Thanks for putting out all the great talent like your present guest. Continued success. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and Grandma.
Let's see.
Insurance, credit, cash, all go together.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Well, ignore some of these guys. Y'all getting off track. I'm not going to read those. The builder's risk coverage is also necessary, but you won't have to carry it after construction is complete.
Correct. Absolutely. Once construction is complete, you'll be able to switch it. If you're going to rent it, you switch it to a regular landlord policy.
Umbrella coverage is fairly reasonable too. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I insure everything. It makes me sleep good and eliminates what if stress. I'm telling y'all, when I crashed that truck, baby, they cut that check. Hey, I bought that little white car for free, almost free $99. Anyway, y'all stop. I see y'all getting off track in their comments. I'm gonna ignore those. Insurance, and just in case, you know, you have to buy. Yeah, Chris Rock. I ain't gonna read that. What's up, Doug? You back? Oh, I can't read that. Y'all going, I can't read it. It's oh
my goodness.
All political. I'm ignoring all the political ones. I'm ignoring political ones. Crime is crime, no matter who people commit it. Yes. Okay, back on track. 151 people in the comments. So Kiera, what will that do to your budget?
So what it'll do to my budget, so it doesn't really change our scope of work, and we will likely see some compensation from the insurance because of the fires, since we were covered adequately. And so our budget is the same. We just will be able to offset some of our costs with the insurance funds. So it's, that's why you have insurance for what if. And so it'll end up putting us in a decent, it'll end up being a decent, not a decent outcome, but end up being, kind of a wash.
So when you do demos and you say it's by the pound, right? And they bring out the
dumpsters.
Mm-hmm. They don't have to bring out any special equipment because it's fire damage, or no?
Not really. So there might be we did some initial reviews of the houses. So some of the ones that may have some hazardous materials, we'll get those things out a little bit more strategically, we'll get special folks to come out and bring, get those types of things out, but not really. It's pretty standard. Oh, almost threw my whole computer on the floor. But yeah, it'll be pretty standard.
Okay, the Credit Solution said, I wonder if the insurance adjuster comes out. Do you mention that you were about to start renovating? It seems like that could raise some red flags. They would think it's a setup. Listen, and
the fire didn't start in our house, and there's a police report that specifically dictates what happened and why it happened. So no, we don't see any issue with that. The houses have been vacant for a really, really long time. And again, there was nothing of value in the house. So no, I don't see any issues with that.
Oh, for sure. And like when you talk about fire fraud, which is somebody's commenting, he said, please don't go to a running your home. It's insurance fraud. Yeah. When I was in Detroit, what I didn't like, I'll be very clear. Meet Kevin and Graham Stephan were going around, and there was a fire bug, an actual person burning like 3 properties at one time. So the fire department over there, and they basically said, this is arson, right? Mm-hmm. And what ends up happening is it discourages people from doing renovations in those places because, you're putting in money and things are getting burned. Mm-hmm. But also, it's something we need to talk about because you should have insurance.
You should have insurance.
This is why I don't like bandos being side by side. I want to clean up 2 at a time. And for those of you who are in the investment group, you'll hear about that next week. But that's the thing. If I'm going to go to Baltimore, I want 2. Even if I got to do 100 in the repairs, I want 2 side by side. I want 2 side by side because I can control who's the neighbor, and that's really powerful,
right?
Long term.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely, for those of you asking about like insurance and all that kind of stuff, we're more focused on the fact and sharing what's going on to make sure people know and remember and understand the value of insurance and going through that step and making sure that's part of your process and part of your, like, what you do when you get a house. Not really worried about like the claim and whatever we get and all that kind of stuff. The houses aren't worth that much because they were basically tear downs anyway. So that's not the point. The point is that you need to be adequately insured because you never know. We were at dinner. Like, you never know when something's going to happen.
For sure.
And that's why you have to also make sure when you're like running your numbers and analyzing your deals on the properties that you are doing it accurately. You're doing it while you're going through your process, because you should have contingencies and what if this happens or that happens, so that you're able to cover your fees and your expenses and still make out on your deal. Like, that's why process is key and so cool when you're doing these things, because it's not monopoly money. Like, this is real life stuff. And so you have to treat, running a business like a business and doing what you need to do to make sure things make sense.
Oh, for sure. Listen, and so now y'all gonna sell that to me for $5,000, right? Instead of 15.
Yeah, right.
I need y'all to go over there and go check on those properties and let me know if they're available. I need to go over there. I need to
all kinds of properties available. All kinds of stuff for you and your friends.
Credit Solution said, that's why I asked. I used to be a property management, and sometimes our tenants would flood the units to get new carpet. So here's the thing about carpet. I'm going to say this, don't take offense. If it's a B/A type apartment, B or A's class, and that's classes, they should only have carpet in there 3 years. And if you have pets, you have to remove it, because the law states if another child comes in, the child has asthma or something, and you left the carpet in there with animal damage, you had to remove it anyway. It's when you come across sometimes these C, D, E, F, G complexes that will have carpet for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. That's not good for your health anyway, right? And then flooding it with the subfloor. I mean, I would be pissed if I had tenants flooding for new carpet. I'm like, baby, call me. I'll give you new carpet. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
we'll clean the carpet. It'll save us so much more money if we just clean it,
And if it was done, if like things were done proactively before those tenants moved in, they probably wouldn't have tried to flood it to give them new carpet. You know what I mean? Like, if you switch,
it's kind of like a control technique, right? Like they can't do anything else. They can't move. They mad. They trying to figure out something to do.
Yeah. I feel like if it was decent carpet when they moved in, they wouldn't want to flood it. It's probably already dirty, nasty.
Have you ever seen people with kids? Sometimes their carpets look like animals who ran through it. You be like, honey, what these children doing?
Yeah.
Just open up trash bags in here? Okay. $1 million umbrella policy covers all home, all auto, rental cars, boats, etc. $1 million policy can cost you less than $1 a day in Texas.
Yeah. And most other places too. It don't cost much at all.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's the big takeaway from this is hopefully it'll save you. What's funny, you guys, is I was a squirrel moment, but I was literally going to drive an hour and 30 minutes away. The weather has completely changed. All our cousins have got out the pool and the weather dropped like 10 degrees. I don't have a jacket in Canada.
Why did you go to Canada without a jacket?
Because I went to LA, then I have 3 long sleeve shirts, but they're like for if you're hiking, they have that thin material if you're sweating.
Woo, you gotta drive an hour to any type of civilization?
Huh?
You gotta drive an hour just to get to like a store?
No. If I go this way, the Indian reservation is this way. And they own a casino and a gas station. Girl, this is the terriblest casino I've ever seen. It was like, looked like their cousins built and was like, here.
Look, y'all gonna play your slots.
You gonna play these slots and leave us alone. Girl, I went to Tim Hortons. It's kind of like anybody in the comments know what Tim Hortons is? Put a 1 in the comments if you know. Put a 2 if you don't. All right. So Asia kept talking about Tim Hortons in Detroit. And I'm like, I ain't trying that mess. I don't know what that mess. I'm like all day starving through the airport, driving an hour to this place. I'm like, I'm so hungry. Then I passed by that sad casino the Indians built. And then I said, damn it, all they got is a Tim Hortons. I'm not going to see another food place for a long time. So I get it. I go, what do you order here? And it's all Indian dudes in there, like Native Americans in there working the whole staff. I guess it's like the law, like they can have every job, right? And he's like, people like the chicken sandwich. He's just like, that's all he said. Chicken sandwich.
Did you eat the chicken sandwich?
I did. It was like a wall full of sandwiches. And I was like, he can't see me, so he doesn't know I'm brown. But he was like, people like the chicken sandwich. So I ordered. I said, is it a big or little chicken sandwich? It's medium. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? It was straight out of like a TV show. It was like, it's like people speak in Canada, how they talk. It's exactly how he sounded. When I got to the window, I'm just smiling. He's like, here you go. Long and the story short, if I go that way, if you go on Instagram and put hashtag ban of Canada, I'm not exactly there. I'm like down the street from there, solid. There's like all these places they built, like coffee places and taverns and pubs where you can get cheaper food than you can get here at these exclusive lodges, right? Where I'm at. And all the hipsters and all the Instagrammers fill up Instagram with pictures. And I'm like, I want that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll drive an hour for that. I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, they had a Wagyu burger here. It was delicious. But anyway, you guys back on track. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Kiara got to go too. So she got stuff she got to do.
Yeah, I'm going to see Lion King tonight. I'm going to have a painter coming to paint Michaela's face for Lion King. We're going to the Black-owned theater in Baltimore to go watch it for the premiere. So we're super excited. Beyonce
selling more Beehive tickets than anybody ever thought. Right. So again, the Analyze the Deal is in the link. Sorry for the tangent I went on, but I'm literally, as I'm talking to y'all, I'm looking out the window as the clouds are like.
I know, it started raining while we were talking here. And I was like, dang, that face paint is going to be running right down her chest.
You gotta have umbrellas. So I'm super excited. Like over 350, almost 400 people have come in and out of this chat the whole time we've been talking. Thank y'all so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. Like for real. Thank you for all the super chats. But check out Kiera's Analyze the Deal. I'm gonna check it out myself. I'm just gonna break in there and hack into the cam so I get the code access. But no, I'm not in Detroit. I'm in Canada. I just talked about how I'm in Canada. I know everybody's like, what's his name?
You're like, where are you? Where is Carmen Sandiego these days?
Keep up with you. But for sure, y'all should check that out because so many times people say, well, how do I know if it's a good deal? Here is math.
Right.
Add the math into the analyst. Here it is.
And it's analyzing your flips, analyzing your rentals. There's a bunch of videos and stuff included in that. And then the spreadsheets that we created to analyze our deals, make sure we're doing things the right way. We're running our process the way we should. And we also talk about the things that you need to consider when you're like first gut reactions. Anytime someone sends you a deal, looks at something, like what are the things that you need to be thinking about and considering? So it's the property analysis bootcamp. Super dope. So
okay. So next time we see him, haggle Kiera to send me a good deal. and get the deal analysis. But thank you, Kiera, for telling us about your property. You should do a video. I know Khalil did a video, but I think you should do a video from the ashes, rising like a phoenix.
Ashes. Yes, Phoenix Rising.
I know you don't do any rehab. That's not your side of the deal, but you know, you could go out there. I don't see you doing any shoveling, but I want you to go out there and pretend just for the camera.
I don't even know. I ain't gonna be able to do
it. That's crazy. All right, listen, you guys. Love you. You're the best. Kiera is coming to the boat party, so don't miss out. We're gonna have it's gonna be lit.
I cannot.
Dinner is gonna be lit. Y'all gonna like the food. Gonna love it. Yeah, it's all Northcross. So links are below. Analyze it. Use the math. Use the data here to help figure it out. The other girl's name is Kiera Gray of Charm City Buyers. You can go on Instagram and find her under Charm City Buyers. Again, Kiera, tell them where all the places they can find you.
Yes, so we're Charm City Buyers on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Charm City Buyers. We're all over the place. So we also have a YouTube channel that should be coming a little bit more active coming up here real soon.
I'm gonna help them. You
better.
Devon asked, would this be useful for wholesalers?
Yes. There's nothing that drives me more crazy than a wholesaler that doesn't know how to analyze a deal. I'm going to be completely honest. And that's because wholesalers aren't being taught. You as a wholesaler, you have to look at deals the way I look at deals as the buyer. And so you have to know how to analyze your deals and analyze them well. And so included in the property analysis bootcamp, I should have said this earlier, it's a workbook on like when you're walking through properties, what you should be writing down about rehabs, a guide on estimating rehabs, and then the spreadsheet that we use to analyze the deal. So as a wholesaler, this is what I'm going to put the deal into to estimate if it's going to be good or not. What's the purchase price? What's the rehab cost? What are some of the fees that are associated? Like there's so many people teaching brand new folks to real estate to wholesale, but they're not giving them the information that they need to figure out how to analyze a deal and make the deal work so that you even know what to offer, so that you can get your fee and then reach out to me and see if I'm going to buy it. So absolutely, this is perfect for wholesalers to make sure that you know what you're doing.
Love it. All right, everybody, this is your girl Ericka from the Classic Line blog. Please don't send us any crazy deals. Make sure you get them numbers right before you email me or email Kiera, because I'm gonna be like, boo, no.
Yeah, I don't that stuff drives me insane. Please don't do that.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for sending it. Charm City Bootcamp. Yeah, all that. Get that, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming on the show, Kiera. Sorry about the fire.
That's fine. It's all right. We'll survive.
Later.